on, Foxy. It's your birthday. Not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
Good evening and welcome to our October session of Moana Nui After Dark presents Whatcha Watchin. My name is James. I am joined once again by my wonderful panel, ladies. How's it going?
Great.
My queen wave.
Queen wave. Happy Halloween to everyone. I know tomorrow night is Halloween or whenever you're watching this.
Why didn't we get dressed up?
I am dressed up. Dressed up as a nerd.
What did it say? I am cosplayer as an adult who has her shit together.
This is my nerdish vibe. I am giving you
Transformer 1.
So tonight's discussions will involve two things that have come out recently. The first being Transformers 1, second being the HBO Max series Penguin. As always, when we discuss movies and shows here, your only warning: leave now if you don't want to know anything. All right.
We're about to tell you who dies.
Basically. We are definitely going to spoil every single thing up until this point. I do know the Penguin is pretty much up to episode 6 this week. I only got as far as episode 3. We'll get to that later. We are going to begin with Transformers 1.
Woo!
So, this was, quite frankly, I was a bit skeptical, having grown up with this franchise since I was 7 years old. This is like not an exaggeration. Like 1984, the day it dropped, 7-year-old me in front of a TV, bug-eyed, before I started wearing glasses, losing my mind. Robots can do what? Okay, this is interesting. And it's had its ups and downs over the years, decades. And this movie was pretty much very refreshing. The only knock I have against it is that somehow Michael Bay is always producer of these Transformers movies. I don't know what blackmail he has on who, but I would very much like a Transformers property where he's not attached.
He must own the rights or something.
Oh, well, Steven Spielberg was executive producer, so that helps. And, this is something I often tell people when they get into the live action films, because typically when I say Transformers, the movie, I'm referring to the 1986 animated film, not that first live action film that everyone wants to talk about. I'm like, no, the 86 animated movie is leaps and bounds to this day still better than that first live action film, as solid as it was. But if you look at the live action films, from the first live action film, which had Steven Spielberg attached, and then somehow he was not attached, and they did 5 movies up until they rebranded with Bumblebee and then did Rise of the Beast, both of which had Spielberg attached again. You notice
the difference.
There is a discernible difference. It's night and day as far as the quality of the movie across the board. I mean, it's an action flick, so you're not going to get much acting-wise anyway. Let's start there. But as far as production value, special effects, the story, the dialogue, all of it is vastly better when Steven Spielberg is involved. And that holds true for this movie as well.
Joy, you changed your name to Optimus Prime?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not even surprised. So that's a little bit of histrionics of the Transformers franchise. Ladies, what did you all think about it?
Yeah, I liked it. I always love backstories, and when they talk about we was friends, what happened to you, you want to know how things came about, and just watching it, seeing how body plays the part and his anger changes him. It was great. I liked it.
Yeah.
The voices though, Prime could have been somebody else. I was happy with everybody else's voice except for Prime.
Liam Hemsworth.
I was just glad it wasn't Chris Pratt.
That part. Because fuck that guy.
So,
and I thought it was good. I didn't think it was going to be good. It was Chris Hemsworth, wasn't it? Hemsworth.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Yes, not
yeah.
Liam. Chris.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
And,
Chris.
We're a little over Chris Hemsworth too, but really over Chris Pratt. But I thought he did a good job. I thought it was cute because he's really like childlike and youthful and exuberant. So I thought he did a pretty good job. And like I said, I was just glad it wasn't Chris Pratt.
Joy.
Well, I was never a huge Transformers fan when I was young. I knew about them. I love the song. I like the mythology and everything, but I didn't really follow it. So it wasn't like I knew Optimus Prime and I knew the Decepticons and Megatron. Like I knew the names and Bumblebee. And then after that, it was like it was a truck and like a cassette player and a bird. Like I didn't know the rest of them. Never knew any of the animals. I know I can see by your face that you are so disgusted with me right now.
No, I'm trying not to blurt out the first 50 names at the top of my head right now. Basically, all the characters I know.
I don't know none of them. I know there's a Jazz.
Yes.
Yes, that's the CD player or the cassette player. Well, that's dumb. So anyway, we're not gonna get into that. But how you gonna be a boombox and your name ain't Jazz? The fuck?
The two boom boxes. The Decepticon one was Soundwave. The Autobot one was Blaster.
That's just confusing. But anyway, like I said, I didn't follow it, and so when I first saw the Michael Bay, the original Michael Bay movie with that guy in it that kept screaming "Bumblebee," I was like, okay, this is doable. Then it went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So little side quest here. I went to the movies with James because he thought that they were showing the original 1987 movie.
86.
And he's like, come watch the original Transformers with me. And I was like, I bet. I see what all the hoopla is about. We get there, and the first few minutes, they're doing like a table read with the original cast of the first episode of Transformers when it first came on TV. I was like, all right, cool. This is cool. Then they did the second episode. And I'm like, what the fuck? All right, well, all right, we can rock. And then the third episode came. I was like, James, what is this? What is this? What are we doing? And he's like, oh, my bad. I thought they were doing the original movie, but they're doing the original series. Then they just started playing Transformers, the original cartoon. I'm out. I went outside and started playing Duolingo on my phone because I did not sign up.
So my bad, because I got my excitement did not read the fine print. I got my years thrown off. So 84 is the 40th anniversary of the franchise itself.
Yeah, premature celebration.
2 years from now in 26 will be the 40th anniversary of the animated movie. So that's what I thought they were going to do. They didn't. They showed the first 4 episodes of the original series. So More Than Meets the Eye parts 1, 2, and 3. And then the first episode after that. Yeah.
It was bad. But so when he's like, hey, you want to go see Transformers 1? No. Sick of Transformers. I'm over it. He's like, oh, let's go see it. So we go see Transformers 1. I was beyond pleasantly surprised. I was entertained. Like, I really liked it. And it gave me something that I couldn't get from any other source, which was Megatron's villain origin story. Now I understand why he is such a dick. Now I get it. Now I know why he is so mad and so burn the world nihilistic. And now I understand why Optimus Prime don't just lay him the fuck out. Like, why does the superhero always have to have some sympathy and love for the supervillain? Just murder his best friend. Now I get it. Now I get why he's always like, Megatron, don't do this. I'm like, you know what he gonna do? Cap him. You got all these swords and shit, and you're gonna just hold him up and throw him to the ground, murder him. Now I know why he always wants to redeem him. Because when honestly Megatron was more stand up, follow the rules than Optimus was. Oh, his name was Optimus at the time. Yeah. And so
he's always gotten Optimus. Optimus always got him in trouble.
And then on top of that, for Optimus to have always gotten him in trouble, and then for Megatron to want to break the cycle of all of this Prime nonsense because it all seems to be a lie because they all got betrayed. Spoilers, blah, blah, blah. And then Optimus gets the goddamn Prime. What? I'd be mad too. I would be pissy. I would be spitting mad if the dude that drugged me and all of this gets blessed with the power to turn the whole planet back on and become a Prime. Boy, fuck, you know what? I'm out. I'm fighting you on the rest of my life just because. It's on sight. Optimus on sight, son. I understand Megatron now. Megatron is another one of those I'm gonna be like, he kind of had a point. Like, I get it.
What?
Megatron, Thanos, Killmonger. I get it.
I don't know if I go quite that far.
Oh my gosh. So again, I love the movie. Again, the only negativity I have about it is Michael Bay's name is in the credits. Aside from that, I mean, I could nitpick because of everything I know from like Transformers lore. I appreciate the retelling or the reimagining of the origin story of Prime and Megatron, because they gave them personality.
Yeah.
In this film, which is kind of void in the original franchise storytelling, both in animated series and in comic books. They don't do much to pretty much discern what drove them prior to who we know them as Megatron and Optimus Prime. So before they became who they were, Megatron was D16, Optimus Prime was Orion Pax. And, you know, for the sake of the film, to condense everything, because you only have about 90 minutes, 2 hours, they were minors. In the original lore, Megatron is a warrior in the gladiatorial games, right? He's like legit fighting because there's nothing else for him to do. And Optimus Orion Pax is a clerk or bookkeeper, if you will. Like, he works for the government. He's an archivist. He's basically keeping the history of Cybertron intact for other people to come in and look at as they see fit, which is why they did that opening shot of him looking through the archives and digging up old things about Cybertron and the Matrix of Leadership. That is a nod to the original version of Orion Pax as far as what he did. Now, granted, he did have this allure or fascination with the Decepticons at the time, because there were two factions. There were Autobots and there were Decepticons. But Autobots were pretty much more so for manual labor. They were your worker bots. They worked the factories or whatever. Decepticons were the military bots, and they could all fly. So yeah, some Autobots envied Decepticons for the sole reason they could fly. But
I was today years old when I realized that the Decepticons are the ones that could fly.
Yeah, but the Decepticons were, I mean, because Starscream wasn't, he was a rebel. He was
High Guard leader in this, yes.
Okay, so he was High Guard.
He was leader of the High Guard in this film, which, you know, still holds, because, you know, he was probably out there toiling in the wind until Megatron against the government, because Megatron didn't like the way things were. He fought in the gladiatorial games pretty much like as a way to fight back, initially to fight back against the government. He didn't like the status quo, right, as far as the original lore goes. And so they incorporated that same thing into him basically during his whole turn. Like, he's been betrayed. Everything that, you know, he believed in Sentinel Prime. He looked up to Megatronus Prime, find out Megatronus Prime is dead. Wait, the Primes were ambushed? Everything I've learned since I've come online is a lie? Sentinel Prime is the betrayer, but he's supposed to protect us.
Nah, he sold y'all out.
And then I actually see Sentinel Prime bend the knee to the quintessence of all things. The quintessence. Now, here's something that's going to bake your noodle. In this film, they use the quintessence as a vehicle of not so much pure evil, but they're the enemy unseen, if you will, because they don't give them much. in the original lore, the Quintessons are the creators of the Autobots and the Decepticons. They're their creators. They're the ones that manufactured them to sell them to other planets. Hey, you need labor bots? We got these Autobots over here. Take these. New brand new Autobots for sale. You need military? All right, cool. We got these nice Decepticon flyers right here. They transform in all types of flying vehicles. Go ahead. What's your order? 500? Cool. 500 Decepticons that way. Go blow up that planet.
Doesn't Megatron just turn into a gun?
In the original lore, yes, but somewhere around the term from the 80s to the 90s, parents groups got upset that Megatron was a gun, so he was rebranded as a tank. Because
a bigger gun.
Which still shoots.
Well, because they wanted to maintain the iconic design of Megatron with the fusion cannon on his right arm. So to change his vehicle mode, it had to make sense why he has a fusion cannon on his right arm, as opposed to, so he couldn't just be a plane with no big giant cannon attached to it somehow. So they went with a tank. So, but yeah, initially, yes, he was a gun.
Okay, but what was the chip that he found that was his mentor, the person that he liked the most, that became his symbol?
So that was basically it was a sticker, basically. Like they collected stickers and decals of
right, and heroes. I can't remember who that was.
It was Megatronus Prime, one of the 13 primes.
Okay.
So he idolized him so much that he just slapped the sticker up on his locker because that's who he looked up to.
But didn't that become the symbol for the Decepticons?
That does become the symbol for the Decepticons.
That's kind of fucked up, though. Megatronus Prime was a good guy, and you're going to take his symbol and make it the Decepticons. It's kind of like what Nazi Germany did with the sign that used to belong to like the Hindu Buddhists. I mean, I'm just saying. It's terrible. Don't take that sign and make it evil. Wrong.
So, yeah, the detail, the way they told the story of Megatron, and you can see it because if you pay attention, this is something I didn't notice the first time watching because I was more so looking for all the Easter eggs to original Transformers lore, previous Transformers iterations.
Okay, so that's why you watched it 55 times. Okay.
Twice.
Excuse me. Not you twice today.
No, right? no, just once.
Today.
So the first time I was pretty much just looking for Easter eggs, and I caught several. I'll get into that later. But you notice every time Megatron's added or D16 becoming Megatron, when his anger rises, his eyes start to change color.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the film, they go from bright yellow. When he learns that Sentinel is betraying them from Alpha Trion and watching Sentinel give Energon to the Quintessons, they dim. When he gets into the fight with Starscream, that you start seeing a little red hue around the edges, and after he drops Orion Pax, they become completely red. So that I thought was a nice subtle touch to pretty much watch his transition from D16 to Megatron as his anger gets the better of him. Not so much his anger, but his rage. Let's just call it that. It's his rage against the system.
He's really seeing red.
Yeah. So
that still doesn't explain how he took over the Decepticons.
Because Starscream, and here's the thing I don't like what they do with Starscream. They make him this cowardly buffoon from time to time. Starscream is a competent, even though backstabby, he is still a competent military presence as far as Decepticon leadership. Is he smart with his decisions? No. Is he an opportunist? Absolutely.
So I want to address that. So you say, how did he take over the Decepticons? I don't know that Megatron did. I think that they lack cohesion and loyalty that you see in the Autobots. If Prime goes down, the Autobots are going to rally around Prime and try to keep him up. Whenever, because it happens a lot, whenever Megatron goes down, they leave his ass wherever he fell and just go take off and be like, oh, bro, you were still alive. We was coming back for you. And so if you watch the interactions with Starscream, because Starscream is running things, and then D16, whatever his name is, shows up out of nowhere and he whoops his tail. And they do have that kind of like power is power, type of mentality. So, all right, you in charge for now. And it's always that with Starscream. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you good, boss. I got you. Like, yeah, I'm following your lead. You fucked up. So never trust none of them.
So Starscream's, and this is Starscream's own hubris to his downfall. Like, his hubris is his downfall because he thinks he is the best. And he might very well be the best of all the flyers of the Decepticon group. But when they get when the High Guard and Starscream capture Orion Pax Leader 1, Bumblebee, and D16, he pretty much says the only truth that you can rely on in this world is the power of one bot over another. Mm-hmm. So D16 is like, all right, I'm out of here. This whole ruling thing, nah, I'm not playing kingdom for some false king, because he thinks, and already at this point, he's already learned Sentinel Prime ain't shit. Everything he knows was a lie. And the last thing he wants is to be told what to do by someone who's in power who probably doesn't deserve it. So he's like, okay, I'm out. Till Starscream pretty much pokes him one too many times. And he's like, fine. You believe that superiority lies in one bot over another? I'm going to just beat the shit out of you right here in front of everybody. And after he does,
oh man, yeah.
And after he does, he pretty much dares anybody else in that group to step up and try to take this position from. Like,
who else wants some of Debo?
Right. I beat the dude y'all called leader, because Starscream was leader.
Yeah. What was that old movie with Vin Diesel? You kill what you kill. Will you keep what you kill?
Oh, Pitch Black.
Yes, that was that rule.
The second Pitch Black film. Yes.
You keep what you kill.
What are you doing, Lee?
So the Decepticons have always been that way. That's pretty much been, and that's a nod to a lot of the lore that is stuck into other forms of media, from the original cartoon to the movies to the comic book series. Is like, the strongest shall lead. They believe in survival of fittest, and the strong should be in charge. Now, the Megatron does have his favorites, and people always wondering that if Starscream is so dishonest and so disloyal that he's always looking for an opportunity to usurp Megatron, why does he keep him around? Well, I want to keep the sniveling, snivy, backhanded, underhanded little weakling as close to me as possible, so I know what he's up to.
Close.
Yeah,
right. I want him right here by my side. Like, he is number 2 in name only. Megatron doesn't really think of him as the number 2, but he lets him think he's number 2 because he knows, and he's waiting. And it's funny because every time Starscream tries to do something to take power from Megatron, Megatron is always ready for it. It's like, as long as and you talk about machines that have lived for thousands of years, he has seen everything. So every time Starscream,
every 180 years you do this, pow, get back.
Right. So yeah, that is the reason. But like, the loyalty, yes, the loyalty comes from Soundwave, Shockwave, a couple of other Decepticons who, weren't prominently featured in this film. But again, it's a list I could probably go down and just lose myself in it.
Bumblebee came on the screen, I could not get these damn kids to shut up. It was like, Bumblebee, grab a look, it's Bumblebee. I was like, I see it. Can you shut up so we can watch the movie? I see it. They're in the seats like, I was like, oh my God, can y'all just stop, please?
I just want to know where they got these American cars from on the Planet Image one.
Well, and that's the thing they were very careful about, because I looked at that. They did their very best to make these look like alien vehicles as much as possible. Try not to make them look so.
I know a Mack truck when I see one.
I am aware. But it had to. But they had to do. They had to do their best to pretty much try to make it as alien as possible from the vehicle forms that we are used to them being. When they come to Earth, because honestly, the original lore, we don't know. There's very little as far as what they transformed into. Yeah, they transformed into other things, but
that was one thing I liked about the first Michael Bay movie, was watching them be like amorphous metal giants, and then they pick something on Earth to transform into. And it kind of made sense. Especially what I loved, Bumblebee turning into that shitty Camaro and into the upgrade Camaro. That was all cool. And it made sense. Wherever they landed, somebody that landed in a construction site turned into a construction vehicle. I got that. But why are you a Mack truck on Energon? I'm just saying.
Cybertron.
Cybertron.
But then Bumblebee being all the way at the, and they didn't realize that was he wasn't the lowest level. Was it the lowest level?
Yeah, he was. He was on level.
That's the bottom of the world.
They didn't realize that was the lowest level.
Level, right. They thought it was only 40. He's in level 50. Smelting plant, if you will. Watching stuff burn.
Whole thing.
So, but yeah, I do like how the story transitioned along the way. I wish they would have done more with the Quintesson interaction, because it was kind of an also and like, yeah, we know Quintessons are part of the lore. We're going to throw them in there for these 5 minutes, and that's going to be it.
I would have liked to know more about the deal they cut with old boy to make him betray his entire planet.
Right.
Because it doesn't seem like, because he's been in the need of them and they're treating him dirty, like it doesn't seem like he's really getting anything out of it. Or at least, give it some sort of redeeming quality. Like they were going to blow up the whole planet and he cut this deal. And that's why he's doing it. But nobody knows, like, why would you do this? Why? Because it doesn't seem like he has power. He was going to be, well, he wasn't a prime.
He wasn't a prime. He was just Sentinel, and he was basically secretary to the 13 primes.
Right. So he got jumped up, but still couldn't wield the power because he wasn't a real prime, and then ruined the planet because,
Yeah. So what he did was typical Starscream bullshit. That's what Starscream would try to do. The only difference is Starscream would fail epically.
True.
So and that's what I would have loved to see, because we really didn't get to see the Quintessons that much. Yeah, we saw some Sharkticons and we saw one Quintesson that pretty much choked up Sentinel Prime. And that was it. It was like, get us our Energon or else. All right, fine. Go back, tell the miners they work in triple time.
Why do aliens always have tentacles?
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot. Moving on.
We'll discuss that next time. Just think about it.
Oh my gosh. Save it for an animated panel that we do.
You cannot talk about tentacles and anime in the same panel.
Yes, we can.
No, we absolutely cannot.
I've seen Crying Freeman. I've seen Wicked City.
I've seen the Rotsuki Doji. We will not talk about tentacles and anime at the same time.
Legend of the Overfeed.
Yes. Burned in my brain forever. They had that just sitting out at Blockbuster because they didn't know the difference. And we rented it thinking it was regular anime. Shocked to my core. What is happening? Why? And then I was into the story. We watched all the whole series.
All 4 movies.
I want to know how it ended. It was so anticlimactic. I was so mad.
Oh yeah, it sucks. The ending sucks.
It sucks so bad.
So back to Transformers before we lose it completely.
I don't know why y'all let me do this.
This is why.
You should mute me. You should mute me when I get this.
So, I could have also used a little bit more screen time from Alita 1.
Yeah. She was badass.
She was. And this is where my nerd brain kicked in, because when they were showing all the miners, because I'm so heavily into the Transformers franchise, every face they showed on one of the miners, I instantly knew who that character was going to be once they received the transformation card, because I noticed that outright. Like, there's a hole in their chest. Oh, they don't have the transformation cogs. Like, I knew that from the get-go, even watching the trailers. So I see, I know these names are not going to mean anything to a lot of you, but I noticed Wheeljack and Jazz and Brawn and Ironhide and Ratchet and
Clank
and RC. Like, RC is blatantly in this film several times. And I know that's pretty much like the name that probably most people know from the live action films, because they throw some variant of RC in all these films and basically kill her 5 seconds later. But in this film, the original RC from the 80s, and this is why, again, like looking at their faces and the designs of the heads that they did, it was fun just to pick out every single person every single character I knew from like the 80s franchise was like just spectacular. Cause I'm like, ooh, and I'm just like trying to remain calm and not lose my shit while I'm trying to enjoy the movie at the same time. Like I see Sunstreaker and Sideswipe and Brawn and Brawl, and it's like, okay, calm.
So are they is this a reboot or just a one-off of a movie?
We don't know. Because see that because therein lies the second really blatant issue I have with this film. The marketing for this film was horrible, as in non-existent.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like, hey, Transformers 1 is coming soon, and that's it. I don't remember any like cross promotions with any retailer or restaurant chain, anything like that. I know that there is a toy line, but is this toy line collectibles or not? Because let's be honest, there were literally 7-ish featured Transformers in this movie. Like characters who actually transformed. You got Bumblebee, Alita 1, Megatron, Optimus Prime, Sentinel Prime, Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave. That's it.
But there were two different. Going to the movies, there were two different ones. You had the ones where you had the promo kit, and if you didn't go to that one, you didn't get all of the little cute stuff, the posters, the cup, the keychain.
Yeah, but when I say promo, I mean like advertising for this film.
You didn't see a lot of marketing for this.
There was not a lot of marketing for this movie whatsoever. Like, there was definitely like events set up for opening day, opening weekend, or early viewings of the film.
So, because like we're going to talk about Penguin. Well, y'all are going to talk about Penguin. I saw marketing for Penguin everywhere. I didn't even know what the Penguin was, but I know that the dude that played was Colin Firth.
Colin Farrell
was all over my timeline on Instagram and everywhere with his makeup, and I was like, "What is this?" They marketed it to death. I didn't know about Transformers 1 until James was like, "Do you want to come see this movie with me?" And so
I did see a few like social media ads where
and they had what's his face going on certain TV, late night.
Chris Helmsworth.
Yeah, Chris going to late night. Not everybody, which they should have had everybody going.
Yeah.
Yes, they should have.
Because isn't Brian Tyree whatever?
Brian Tyree Henry plays D16/Megatron, and Keegan Michael Key plays Bumblebee.
Who?
Keegan Michael Key.
Lord, that makes sense. Hyper ass. That boy need a Ritalin right now.
Is why he named one robot a.a.tron.
He sure did. I didn't even think about that. Like it resonated, but it didn't. I need to watch it again.
Those are little subtle things that you miss watching it the first time. Because I was like, wait, did he name that? And when I watched it, I was like, he showed up there, called that robot a.a.tron.
A.a.tron. That boy stupid.
Like I didn't know Steve Buscemi was Starscream until I heard his voice again.
Steve Buscemi looks just like Angelina Jolie.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. There's a picture of both of them, like when she was maybe 18 and when he was like maybe a college senior or maybe a college freshman, and said he's the ugliest man in the world and she's the prettiest woman, but at one point they look like twins. And I promise you, I'm gonna go find it on my phone. Hang on, baby.
While she's doing that, Lawrence Fishburne was also the voice of Alpha Trion, which I found very interesting because Alpha Trion from the original lore is not a prime. He is
I didn't catch his voice.
Yeah,
and I can normally catch Lawrence Fishburne's voice, and I didn't catch that.
Well, he has he does two things in the film, because when Orion Pax is in the archive playing the history of Cybertron, that's Fishburne's voice from the computer in the historical archives, and then it's Alpha Trion later. So yeah, I like the fact that he was playing such a pivotal character, because in the original lore, Alpha Trion is the father of all the Autobots. He's the one that leads the rebellion that kicks the Quintessons off the planet. And then pretty much Autobots and Decepticons live as one until Megatron's like, yeah, the status quo sucks. So, and Alpha Tron is the one who basically reformats Orion Pax into Optimus Prime. What would you do?
I sent you this picture.
Oh gosh, why?
Look at that.
Dang it, why'd you do that? Now I can't unsee it.
Tell me it's not the same
because
person.
of the darkness around the eyes. That's the only thing.
No,
Yeah, they both
the
have deep
mouths
set
are the
eyes.
same too. They could be.
That's
They
just
could
the
be
darkness
siblings.
around the eyes. They're
The
not.
deep set eyes is the forehead and the shape of the face. Well, yeah, his face is a little more squared off, and hers is rounded, but that could be male, female. But he has a full bottom lip. He just he lived a hard life after this picture was taken, and turned into Steve Buscemi. And she, I don't know, was drinking milk and having skincare regimens, and was Angelina Jolie. Although in both of their not defense, but in both of their they both be having chapped lips all the time. Could be a family trait. I don't know that they're related at all, but that the caption does say, wait, what does it say? I lost it. One of these people is regarded as one of the most attractive in the world, and the other as one of the least. But for one brief shining moment, they looked exactly alike. I know. I hate me too.
Can't take you nowhere.
I don't want to go nowhere.
Any favorite standout moments in the film for any of you?
When the D16 became Megatron.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, now I see why and how he became. That stands out in my head. And then Bumblebee, can't help that coming into my head when he came on the screen. Those are the only two.
The hyperactive, non-stop talking, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For somebody that later loses their voice box. Wow.
Yeah, I hate that they did that in the live action series of films. I don't know why they did it, probably because they couldn't find the right voice for him or whatever, but for that to be the storyline across several films that he had no voice because Megatron cut out his vocal cords, I thought was lazy.
It is super lazy considering that all of that is made out of metal and you can just put that back.
Not to mention Bumblebee was always the gateway to the humans in the animated series.
Yeah, because he was the smallest one, right?
One of the smallest, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I always found that a little off-putting, but they did the live action films and they want to incorporate human beings, and I'm like, no, you can make a great Transformers film and you don't need people. They're not necessary.
Yeah, we talked about this is the first one that is centered around them and not their interactions with Earthlings or humans.
No humans.
No Shia LaBeouf screaming, "Bye, baby!" We don't need that.
And then you got Megan Fox
at all. Well, I thought that I can't remember the character's name, so I'll just call him Thor since Chris Hemsworth was his voice.
Orion
I thought that Thor's his character was endearing because he was just so enthusiastic and so
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, and he knew that they could break out of the mold if they just tried. They could beat the other guys in the race or whatever and become significant. I just thought he was very optimistic, and it's strange for me to find that endearing because I'm usually quite.
I mean, his name was Optimus Prime later, so
yeah, but yeah, he was cute, and I appreciated his
cute.
His enthusiasm and his perseverance.
Yeah. Plucky. He was plucky.
He was very plucky. Yes, he was.
So, Teresa, to piggyback on that, there's a moment in the movie where after Sentinel Prime sends troops in to try to capture as many of the High Guard as possible, and they end up capturing Bumblebee and Megatron. Elita One uncovers Orion Pax, and they're like, well, how are we going to get back down to Icon City and, fight a rebellion and free half the High Guard and our friends? And he's a little bit downtrodden. She's like, I want you to listen to me very carefully. I am better than you. He's like, that's weird. It's like, no, I want you to hear me very good. I am better than you in every single way, except you have hope.
Mm-hmm.
that one thing that inspires and drives others to do the unthinkable. You inspire hope, the possibility of being able to do something bigger and better than what you are. Right. And I thought that was one, both hilarious because she just flat out just
like, I'm better than you.
I am better than you. In every single way that matters. I am better than you.
There's so much to unpack there.
Right.
About a competent woman and a mediocre dude with hope. Being a goddamn leader. She's clearly more qualified in every way.
Oh my God.
Because he believes he can, he gets all the shine. What the?
I did not mean to touch a nerve. I'm sorry. I was just piggybacking on what Teresa was saying. She made a great point. I just wanted to show a scene that emphasized it completely.
But, to put my D&I hat on for a second, when I do all my leadership training, I talk about the two base motivations for leading a team. You can lead out of fear or you can lead out of love. And so you talk about inspiring hope and giving people a reason to want to try harder and doing the impossible, and you believing in them and them believing in you, and that synergy that's created when you have hope together. Optimus Prime brings that, and that's why everybody would die for him. They've literally taken bullets for him before. Give them all pieces of him, of themselves, so he can become Optimus Rex or whatever he was later on, blah, blah, blah. And then you have somebody who's out of fear. Megatron shows up on the scene, whooping somebody's ass and making everybody else get in line. And they only follow him out of fear of what'll happen if they don't. And the minute they feel like they can beat him, they overthrow him over and over again. So he lives in fear of what might happen if they try to take him out. And so there's no trust, no synergy, no cohesion. And that's why they can never win, because they don't have the trust and the teamwork that the Autobots have. And so that's the fault. That's usually the breakdown. No honor among thieves and blah, 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 good versus evil, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, operating on a base of fear is not a winning proposition for any company, including the Decepticons. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Standout moment for you, Joy, before we switch gears here.
Oh, the standout moment for me, honestly, was when Prime came back up out that golden fluid or whatever as Optimus Prime. You knew it was coming. It had to happen, but it was still very majestic. It was a moment. Okay. And it also is one of those kind of like canon event type of things. You don't get Optimus Prime unless you get Megatron first, right? Because he had to kill him. He had to drop him off of there for him to come back as a Prime.
Funny you mentioned that. Because that's pretty much how it happens in the original lore. Prime is just out doing his daily business, walking about. Megatron and some of his Decepticons attack nearby. Prime gets badly injured in the attack. Is kind of like, you see on the news in some other country where a bomb goes off or something. Rebels run in, shoot up the place, roll out. That's pretty much what happened. And Prime got jacked up so bad that, some passersby took him to Alpha Trion, and Alpha Trion rebuilt him as Optimus Prime.
Wow.
So yeah, same thing. Again, it's a little nods here that I like throughout the entire film, how certain things relate back to the original series, the original franchise. When they were coming out of the tunnels after, the Energon explosion, and Jazz is about to get left behind, and Prime and, Orion Pax and D16 use the jetpacks to push the boulder away to get him out, where Leader One basically gets fired afterwards. It pretty much, for me, that was a nod back to the original movie in '86, because Jazz and Cliffjumper are on a moon that's about to be destroyed, and they're trying to get away. Like, can't get away then, can't get away now. But I think for me, the funniest line, because again, this is how deep my nerddom goes. The signature song with the '86 film is a song called "The Touch" by Stan Bush. And when they're flying in to go into the mine in the beginning of the film, Leader One lets Orion Pax knows that you don't have the touch or the power, which is a line from that song. You've got the touch, you've got the power.
Yeah, nice.
The hook.
Yeah, the music was good. The music was good.
So that song is pretty much synonymous with the entire franchise in some way, shape, or form. Any final thoughts on Transformers before we move on to the Penguin?
Oh, it was good. I definitely like to have another one.
I hope you get a second one, because
I would like to see this as a movie franchise that comes out maybe every other year or something. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Or at least to get more of the story of what happens before they end up on Earth.
Yeah, I'd love to see the whole battle for the planet and all that, and then ruin the planet. Like that could be 2 or 3 movies before we get to ruining the planet, and then end up on Earth, and then the whole Witwicky bullshit.
We don't need.
We don't ever need another Witwicky. No,
we don't need no more Witwickies. No humans. I would be okay with a franchise of films solely happening on Cybertron.
Yeah,
and getting to the point to where we see the mega cities transform. Like we see a Triptychon, we see a Metroplex or a Fortress Maximus, or that nature, the Colossuses, if you will. So the fact that they pretty much Colossi, thank you. That they pretty much stayed solely in Icon City is like, okay, but this is a huge ass planet, and Icon City in this film was under the surface. Icon City's usually on the surface of Cybertron, so that was a different way to go. Pretty much ended up like no one goes to the surface ever. Like,
well, because he was telling lies on the surface. So
but that's where the lore flips, because while they battle out everything on the surface, when they're trying to like duck and dodge from each other, it's, hey, no one goes down to these levels ever. Like, so it's like the inner workings are pretty much all the, I don't want to say this. It's kind of like the knowledge and the lost lore of the planet, the history of itself, because of all the fighting on the surface pretty much damaged so many lower levels. People have forgotten what was on the lower levels. Whereas this one, they've pretty much been lied to and kept from the surface and are living on the lower levels. So that little flip is interesting.
Yeah, little flip, but same. It achieves the same result. You forgot your history. Okay.
All right.
Well, this is where I leave you, because I have not even watched The Penguin at all.
You still be spoiled on it?
I could, or I could go watch this Hellbound show where they made it in the first 5 minutes with some lava demons. K-dramas be off the chain, yo. Hellbound on Netflix. Somebody got their face whipped off on the side of a bus in the first 5 minutes of the show, and they got burnt to a crisp in the middle of the street. And that I don't even know what's happening yet. I've got to find out what happens in the rest of this episode. So I'm gonna go watch Hellbound, and I will catch y'all later.
Bye, Joy. Thank you for joining us. And now, The Penguin. Follow up to Pattinson's The Batman movie.
Where the city was destroyed. I was wondering. I was like, wait, is that?
Yes, that's where the Riddler floods the city. So for anyone who's forgotten what happened in Pattinson's Batman film, which felt like 2 movies slammed together for no good reason whatsoever, Pattinson's playing an emo Bruce Wayne, and it's year 1 of Batman, if you will, and the Riddler has pretty much gotten everybody twisted around, not knowing they head from their butthole. And and the climactic finish is Riddler set off bombs to flood the poorest parts of Gotham City. And I don't mean like, oh, there's a couple of feet of water. No, we're talking like,
and the purpose of doing that
to supposedly make everybody equal, I believe, or something, to bring people
then
down.
You would do it to the rich. Why would you do it to the poor?
Because the poor side of Gotham, for whatever reason, sits like several hundred feet below sea level. So when the water came rushing in, all the poorest neighborhoods got, we're talking like apartment building depth water. So people died. And the Penguin, first episode pretty much picks up right there. So Simone, I know you watched several episodes. I will freely admit I've started this series. I thought it ended.
the way that it ended, I was like, oh, okay. So
I believe there are 8 episodes, so it's not yet done.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say the last episode I saw, I'm like, oh, they found the mother. Sophia found the mom. Now we're gonna have a season 2. It's like, okay. But apparently not. That wasn't the last episode. So I'm good with that. But the first episode, the highlights for me in all of the episodes was seeing the Penguin switch, being talked down to where, he's trying to tell this little stupid brat, you don't have to show power. You can just, people can idolize you in an amazing way. And he was trying to tell this heartwarming story. And it's like, you want me to do that? I want to float. I don't want no damn float. I don't, that's what you want? Oh, okay. And then you just started making fun of him. And he was like, you're laughing at me. And then he just shoots him. You can see it.
Yeah, because he's laughing too
he
much.
Just like shoots him.
Yeah.
And he's happy.
Yeah. Because he hit his breaking point. And again, that comes from that some of that comes from the film. Because his club, the Iceberg Lounge, is one of the spots that's pretty much badly damaged by the flooding or the looting thereafter that took place. So there's a fight sequence that does take place in his club, but when Pattinson Batman is running through there, whatever, trying to like get answers, like Penguin is trying to like duck and dodge. And it wasn't really known at the time how tight he was with the Falcons. So that's the other thing that you need to know about the series, that the Maronis and the Falcons, you follow anything Batman, those are always the 2 top-notch crime families. Those are your mob families in all of Batman lore, no matter what version you're looking at, what it is. If it's crime in the mob, it's either the Falcons or the Maronis. And we didn't know when watching the movie how deep Penguin was in with the Falcons, because he was talking about making a deal working with or for. It really wasn't clear in the film, but we know he had some type of association. We assume loosely. If I'm misremembering, someone please correct me. But in this series, like you say, he's talking to the oldest son of the Falcone family when it starts, because he's going in because he's basically like, all right, it's time to make a power move. And he's got all this dirt and blackmail, this folder and everything. And the son walks in on him and is like, oh, okay, I caught you red-handed. What were you doing? Nothing. I'm just
looking for you.
Came here tying up some loose ends, but here you are. Like, all right, let's sit and chat a spell. Like you said, Teresa, Simone, excuse me. The Falcone boy is basically just talking down because, again, he's been given the green light to dismiss literally anybody that's not family. Mm-hmm. Because that's how he was raised.
His name is power, and he's using that. The only good thing that he's ever done was love his sister.
Right.
And protect her. And that I'll get to her in a minute. But that bitch is crazy.
She was not originally, no, but her
father.
Right.
So her father was right. She took over the family.
I mean, but again, it's one of those things where you look at.
He made her.
This is the same as The Last Airbender with Ozai, Zuko, and Azula.
Yeah.
Zuko wants to prove so hard that, hey, Dad, love me. But you're such a fuck up. And your sister's so much better at everything. She doesn't have to try. If anything happens, I'm going to just leave it to her. That's basically what this little triumvirate reminded me of. Because it's like, he is so detached. Like, he has his ideas to try to prove to the old man, hey, I can do this stuff. And that's what we see in a lot of the flashbacks. But he looks like he's completely checked out of any responsibility whatsoever. It's like, well, I can't talk to him because he doesn't listen to me. So I have to show him that I can. And the handful of things that they did show him, at least from what I saw in the episodes that I've seen thus far, all of his dealings or whatever have blown up in his face or come back to bite him in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least that's the history that they've established. Whereas like the daughter is like buttoned up really tight, knows things that, according, you know, from the father's point of view, she should not know, or he doesn't want her to have to worry about these things. Like, find typical, stereotypical mob.
Yeah, but
family.
she needs to. If she's supposed to be taking over the family, you got to let her know that.
But think about
slowly
that.
He was going to bring her in.
Yeah, and I remember that flashback because that was one of the few things I remember from episode 3 while I was nodding off, is that while they were having that discussion, he was kind of reluctant to even think about it. But it's like, you really do have a handle on things, don't you? Like, you're keeping your brother in check for the most part. We know he's a screw up. He's going to do what he does, but you're doing your best to keep him in line. I guess I could leave you everything. You know, it's like the idea almost seems foreign because, again, like I said, the stereotypical mob is father to son, father to son.
And she said that.
And the daughters, because he was like, yeah, maybe it's time to break with tradition, because the daughter's only job is marry into other powerful families, push out babies. Sound familiar? So yeah, wait, he was like, you know, maybe it's time to break from tradition. Maybe we should do something different. Like, it was kind of a little reluctance in there. Like, we probably should. I don't even know if I want to, but sure, why the hell not? I'm not going to be here forever. Like, he's actually coming to grips. Like, something sooner or later is going to happen to me. I might as well have the succession plan in place. He probably died because when he dies in the movie, I don't think that plan was in place, which is why his brother and cousin have taken over the family as heads.
I must have missed how he died
in the movie.
I don't know if they showed.
I can't remember.
I don't know if they showed.
Can't remember either.
I would have to go back and watch the Batman again, but he does die in the movie, and I do believe they show it.
Okay, so however he passes away and it gets to the son, you don't know. that's being a dog mom. That's being a dog mom.
Would you over there acting up, Teresa?
I can't.
Oh, that's why I take mine to doggy daycare. Knock them the hell out.
Oh,
so they come home and they just pass the hell out. The two parts for me at the very beginning, when he shot him,
right,
and he was happy. You know, he leans back and he's happy, and then you're like, oh shit. You see that he just
the realization, like first the joy, then the realization, like shit, yeah.
And then he's taking him down the stairs. Oh my God, I think that was my favorite part. He's taking him down the stairs. And again, another realization. Why the fuck am I carrying this down the stairs? He just throws him down the stairs.
I'm
like, okay. That was my another favorite part. And what reminded me, him and his mother talking. Kingpin. I automatically thought of Kingpin, and I can't remember
Vanessa, his wife. Yeah.
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
So the two of them, when he's like, I don't know, maybe I should just leave. And she's like, you are the Kingpin. You're gonna take it over, let it burn, or whatever. However, she makes him see that he is who he is and embraces that. That reminded me.
Kind of the man up speech.
Yeah. She's like, you're a pussy. What are you doing? You're gonna just get out there, get him. That's your city. I was like, okay, mom, do it. And then Sophia coming out. First of all, model, just coming out, standing there. I'm like, yo, look, that bitch is bad. Neck. I think I need to find that outfit.
Oh gosh.
Dress like her. I need to find that outfit.
Well, she did a phenomenal job of
She did. Her
of
facial expressions.
of leaning into her crazy, because she was perfectly fine up until she came to the realization that mom didn't die through some freak accident. She didn't kill herself. Dad killed mom. You know, and they showed a flashback of Summer Gleason, which I find hilarious because, again, I'm going to try. I'm gonna push through and try to watch because I want to see what other Batman universe names pop up in the series. Summer Gleason is a big one. The fact that they end up killing the family, kills Summer Gleason and blames it on the daughter, along with the other open investigations of similar strangulations.
That was so dirty. So dirty. Just everything that they did to her. I mean, that bothered me. It was so, I mean, it's fictional, you know, but that really bothered me that he would have her committed, frame her for all of that stuff, and then the rest of the family writing letters to support the commission, whatever.
And then why she got out? Because the brother let her out, or the brother said to let her out? How did she get out? That they never
it was
said
like 10 years later, first of all.
Yeah, she had served her time.
Yeah.
Whatever, because remember, there was no trial. In lieu of the trial, she had to do time. She had to do evaluation at Arkham and then
treatment.
Time.
I mean, they basically lobotomized her.
Right. They made her crazy. Like, so
yes.
Her being unhinged, because she's been in for however many years she was in and then come out, because she was there for so long, people just pretty much lean into, oh yeah, she's crazy because you're in Arkham. Obviously something's wrong with you. Now, of course, the signed affidavits were set up by Salvatore Falcone, her father, because he's the one who pretty much told the members of the family, hey, write these, or he probably had the lawyers, which I
write
found
them up
because
and just sign them.
Right. Write it up, send them to the members of the family, sign this. You know what's good for you. This is for the family. Sign this. And so you got the same lawyer who probably wrote up those affidavits to hand out over to the family to sign, sitting there with her in the police precinct with her brother. The brother, of course, because he's aloof and stupid, doesn't know his elbow from his ankle because he has no idea what's going on. And she's like, wait, what the hell? Did you have a hand in this? And he's acting on his own innocence and ignorance, if you will, because he has no idea. He's been kept out of the loop. But that's because he has a history of fucking up. He was never going to be part of the inner circle or what was going on. So it worked perfectly in their father's plan, because now it's like she has doubt in her brother. The brother has no idea what the hell is going on and pretty much just believes, well, trust the family lawyer, because the family lawyer is doing what's best for you right now. Just go along with it. It'll be okay. But if you knew better, you would tell her to fight this. And the lawyer's just sitting there gaslighting both of them because she's got a job to do.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, within 6 months. And then, then we'll have trial. And then he comes back and there's not going to be a trial.
There's not going to be a trial, right?
When they said that, I was like, this nigga, he is dirty. I mean, I know he's a mobster, but that's your daughter.
Yeah. And to me, she should have embraced that crazy and be like, okay, I know my father put me here. I want him to see how strong I'm going to be. I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to deal with this. Show my father I can take it. And just deal with it and just keep saying, I'm going to protect my father. I think he would have let out.
Yeah.
I think
it's the fact that she knew the truth and she dared to actually ask the question alone with him. And that was her failing. the thing that keeps playing with all these the mob themes with the families is never approach from a position of weakness. Always approach from a position of strength. She had no strength in that one-on-one confrontation with her dad, because one, she's already daddy's little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So she's already got that approval, and she's pretty much going to be next in line. Like, yeah, you know, you're smart and you're capable, but you're smart and you're capable and you're not threatening. The moment you become threatening, and she became threatening by learning the truth through her own memories, because again, gaslit growing up, she's the one that saw her mother hanging. But to start questioning, I don't remember mom being sick or suffering from depression.
Mm-hmm.
How did it come again that she hung herself? So he doesn't even question, like, hey, where's this coming from? Like, her brother was like, where's this coming from? Where are you getting these ideas? Like, he's trying to, like, a little bit figure it out. Like, hey, are you okay? Like, this is kind of out of the blue. How did you even get to this thought process? Dash is like, you know too fucking much. And you have to go away.
That was
Yeah.
awful. I was almost ready to give up then.
She could have came back to him too and been like, Dad, I don't know what's going on, but this reporter, I met with her. She said this. You need to do something. Get rid of her. Something. Just show power to her father. That would have been good too. I'm just sitting there watching it like, I would have did that.
But remember, couldn't, because again, she's not coming from a place of strength or power.
Yes.
Penguin also ratted her out because he was her driver.
Yeah.
So, and you have to remember, in these type of scenarios with the mob, the drivers know the help, whoever they may be, whether it's the maids, the butlers, the drivers.
They're always around.
They know everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Penguin at that time,
but they're also expendable too.
You do become expendable because again, there is knowing what you know, and then there's knowing too much. And the key is to never let one bleed into the other, because the moment you know too much, that's when you become expendable, because you've outlived your usefulness. Like, yeah, we're going to miss you and all the cool shit you used to do for us or with us, but you know things right now you're not supposed to know.
Right.
So you have to go swimming with the fishes, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what he thought, the Penguin. I don't know what he thought her father was going to do to her, but
he wasn't expecting that.
He wasn't expecting to put her ass in Arkham.
Nah, because
dude, you didn't even fucking go visit her or nothing. But you was happy to get a new jacket, take her club, and get promoted.
So, and
but he was smart. He's a smart ass, not having anybody, knowing that you can't have anybody that I love out there in the open. All my family is dead. So just because I was trying to figure out, why are you taking 18 buses and 26 trains? Where are you going? Okay, you went to see your mom. Okay. Like, nobody knows she's alive.
Suffering from dementia. She doesn't even know if she's alive sometimes.
But her too, she clicks, and when she clicks, she gets it. She's that tough mob mother type. Like, she's doing a good job too in acting.
So what do I have to look forward to down the line, Simone, since you're already through episode 5 or 6?
Oh,
I watched them all too.
Okay, Teresa. Sorry.
I'm believe me.
That's what I said. I was like, I was gonna blame Teresa because I'm like, she said it was good, and
I did not.
Like, I blame you for that damn Wolverine crap.
Whatever.
I'll never forgive you for that ever.
Wait,
you don't have to forgive me because I enjoyed it.
No, not you. I enjoyed. I'm talking to that one. Wait,
me?
Yes, I'm talking to
me?
You.
For Wolverine?
The Wolverine, that crazy, stupid Wolverine Deadpool movie.
Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine was awesome. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
No, that was stupid. That was stupid.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
That was stupid. I just Channing. I just
Channing Tatum was all in there for all of 5 minutes. Calm down. Breathe. Breathe. Woosah.
No.
Woosah.
So I thought that this was going to be like that, and it wasn't. I was very happy. I was into it. I'm like, oh, I'm a gangster girl. So
we obviously have very different tastes. Because I love Deadpool and Wolverine, and I did not love the Penguin. I don't know how I made it through all those episodes.
I thought you liked the Penguin.
Absolutely not. And I did not tell you at any point that I enjoyed
that's
it.
not what your text said. I watched it because you said it's good.
I might have said I was watching it, but I did not say it was good.
Oh.
No, Teresa, I would not have killed myself to watch it. I
enjoyed the first episode, and
so maybe that's why you. Okay, so you said I watched. So
maybe
so far,
I'm still on the first one, but after that, it just went. It went.
It just went. Gotcha. Yeah. I can't say. Like I said, I watched the first 3 episodes. Gangster, mobster themed.
I'm a gangster girl, so you give me gangster, I love it. Shooting, killing, getting a gun up in your nose. Yeah, I like it.
Not my wheelhouse. And I'm sorry, like this plays like the typical mobster gangster genre in every way, shape, and form. It's just the backdrop is Gotham. The characters are from the Batman universe, and they just slap their names on. It's like here the Falcons and the Maronis and go. Like, I mean, is what it is. It did not.
But the manipulation is you have to give him props from the manipulation that he can think
not
on
when
his
he gets
feet.
caught every 5 seconds in a bold face, like, dude.
Right, but he can think on his feet and flip it to his advantage.
Did he though? Because what was it? The end of episode 2 or 3? I think it's episode 3, where they're pushing the new product out in the Triads Club, and the Maronis, because again, he's double dipping. All right, for those who don't know, who haven't watched it, again, spoilers. So he works for the Falcons. He's trying to get a leg up and move up because again, the brother of Salvatore's brother and cousin are the ones who are running things right now. And they're basically shut down his drug operation. If you remember from the Batman movie, the drug addicts were taking this drug called drops. So he was the one that was in charge of supply, pushing out whatever. But since that area of town was flooded, business was dropping whatever, and they pretty much was like, hey, close up shop. We're going to move the operation to another part of town, and we'll figure out something for you to do, i.e. they was going to kill him because there's nothing for them to do anymore. He served his purpose. So when he kills the Falcon son in the beginning, he learns of another drug deal he has called Bliss, not knowing that the sister was in on the deal as well.
Well, it was her deal.
It was her deal. So, but to pretty much push things along, he gets the Maronis involved. But the head of the Maroni family is in Blackgate Prison. So, which he goes to see multiple times, which I thought was stupid, because how is no one in this prison ratted you out to the Falcons? Like, the Maronis ain't the only ones in Blackgate Prison. There are some Falcon people in Blackgate. Surely someone between the guards and other prisoners saw you walk into this prison multiple times, whether they seen you talking to the head of the Maroni family or not. But anyway, the wife who's in charge on the outside, because again, her husband is locked up, he makes a deal with her to allow them to make a hit on, the drug supply or whatever. And one of their people gets injured so badly he has to go to a hospital. which I find odd because mob people don't go to the hospital that regular people like us go to.
Right.
They have
mob
yeah.
Right. We take you to the vet that's on 3rd Street and you go in the back door because that vet actually has an actual medical license because he used to operate on people but lost it due to shenanigans. So that's the person we call when our mob people get nicked up, or we drag them to the safe house and we call the doctor we got on the payroll to come through it. So the fact that he was in an actual hospital, I call BS on that because that follows nothing of anything of mob anything, especially in this Batman universe. That's not how that works. So
I found first of all that he was alive to make it to the hospital. I figured everybody there was dead.
Right.
So somebody was left alive, and how did he get to the hospital? So you left somebody alive that was able to, someone else who was able to drive to take him to the hospital.
And then you left him in the hospital alone.
Not
shenanigans number 2. The fuck? Really? We ain't leaving one of our people's in the hospital alone. Someone's going to be there with him. I don't care how low level he is. One of his low level buddies is going to be there with him 24/7. So what's the daughter's name? Veronica? Is it Falcone?
Sophia.
Sophia Falcone. So she pretty much reaches out to a cop they used to have on the payroll and tells him like, hey, we can get you your supply back again if you do this, start working for me.
Right.
He's like, I was like, hey, I got supply right here. Here's some drops for you. All right, cool. What you need? Like, you hear anything about blah, 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 let me know. So he finds out about the hit on the drug run, gets the Maroney dude, throws him in the back of the car, brings to the house at the brother's wake.
Yeah, she was like, this is my brother's wake.
Why are you here?
It's like, you said you wanted evidence. Here it is.
So they leave somewhere where they leave the funeral to the wake, Penguin gets a call from Mrs. Maroney. It's like, hey, one of our men was at a hospital and got picked up. We don't know about who, probably about one of your people, but you need to make sure he gets back to us. All right, fine. Realizes in the basement of the house where the wake is. And now you can't help him get out, and you can't use him to frame the person who you want to set up, and you kill him. like they weren't going to find out. It's the mob. Everything comes out eventually. You can only keep things quiet for like 5 minutes. Once it's 5 minutes and 1 second, somebody knows.
Well, she found out. She found out the hard way, and it was the wife who told her. Like,
right, because they rolled up on them at the club. They were celebrating at the Triad Club. So rounded back to where I started, they're celebrating the sale to work with the Triads to push the Bliss, which is the new drug, which is what Sophia and all the inmates in Arkham are given, pretty much to make keep them sedated or loopy, compliant, if you will, so they don't cause any problems. That's the drug they give them, Bliss. So that's what they're selling now. And, they're talking about errant grievances, and Penguin's apologizing for the way, he treated her and how he took advantage of a situation. It was like, I work for your father. I didn't do anything. I was your driver. Da, 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 da. I was like, all right, fine. I apologize. And just when you think she's about to accept said apology, Mrs. Maroney pulls up with 2 goons and spills the tea right there. Like, and he's like, Sophia, don't believe her. She's crazy. Don't believe this broad. She's stupid. She don't know what she's talking about. Like, the truth is coming out right here. Like, what? And again, so this is as far as I got, because the episode ends with Victor, a kid who's basically trying to boost his car, call back to Jason Todd.
Victor rolls up.
For those who don't know, Jason Todd is the second Robin. Batman basically got him into his services as Robin because he was coming back to the Batmobile, and Jason Todd had literally boosted all 4 tires off the Batmobile, had that joint up on blocks.
You tell the Batmobile?
Yes.
The Batmobile.
Yes.
The unbreakable untouchable Batmobile. Okay.
Jason Todd at like 12 years old got all 4 tires off the Batmobile and had that thing sitting on blocks. And Batman was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this kid a job. So I say call back to Victor because Victor and his friends were boosting the Penguin's car for parts. They were trying to strip it when he comes out after having killed the Falcone's son. And he shoots at them to get them away, catches Victor. Basically made him his doughboy, if you will, from this moment forward. And Victor pretty much having a moment of crisis because Penguin's pretty much berating him like, you can do so much better. You can do this. Why do you, your parents are gone. You probably got nothing left. He's taking advantage of him because his situation is very dire. Like his home was literally destroyed by the flood. He has nothing. He has like one friend who was, was like, hey, let's leave here and get out of Gotham. And he stands her up. Old girl gets on the bus and goes off to start a better life. And he's like, I can't do it. And he drives back in Penguin's car that he basically stole. Sees Penguin and Sophia, they're on their knees with a gun to their head. And is like, I can be the hero.
And saves the day.
And in the process, Sophia hits her head. So from that point forward, I don't know what happens. I am kind of interested because I'm like, she heard Mrs. Maroney spill the tea, but now she hit her head and she passed out. So how much, one, does she remember? And two, is she going out? Because Penguin at this point is foobarred.
Yeah. He knows it, which is why he goes underground.
Complete foobarred. Like there's
he
no
tries
saving
to get
him
the mushrooms back. Well, he does get the mushrooms back. And again, Penguin's mind is working, so he knows he's got everything in play. I keep saying Falcone, and it's not Falcone.
Maroney.
I got to take Maroney out.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to do that, and Maroney survives and gets out of jail. But in turn, he gets the mushrooms. The mushrooms are all destroyed except for 2 containers. And he burns up the mother and the father and the son. And he tells the father, call your wife. See if she is. Penguin, you a fucking dick. You just a dick. You a straight up dick. I have to give you props, dude. You just this things that you do.
Yeah, I give him props for keeping it all straight because he had loyalty to no one.
Nope.
He was playing
everybody.
He was playing every. I mean, it was like
chess. He was truly playing chess.
Every side against the middle. Everybody against everybody. And I was like, this. He just does not care.
He doesn't, and that's a good thing, Teresa, because at the end they brought that up. The triad was like, you turned on everybody. You asking all of us to join, but all the other mob people joined together. And the triad guy was like, you want me to join you, but you turned on Falcones, you turned on the other guys. You turning on everybody, and you expect us to believe. And all the other mob families leaders were there, and they started to believe him, and it was the triads who was the last ones to agree to join. Penguin was like, they don't care about you, they don't know your name, they over there living high and mighty, you built that bridge that your ancestors built, and you get nothing for it, and they got the money. And he get a good ass speech, and basically they listened to him, and it was more of a, okay, we're all going to back you because all of us together can take out Falcone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my girl Sophia,
you got 2 more episodes.
My girl Sophia, and she, when I tell you this is the bad bitch, power play, and she knew what she was doing. She went into Victor. No,
The
who was
boy.
the one that was having an affair with her uncle's wife?
Oh yeah, the underboss.
Yes, him.
I can't remember his
She's
name, but
smoking in his room, and he's not in the room. She's there. You see her open the window and then close it just a little. She's smoking a cigarette. She opens the window. She leans out, and then she comes in and she just closes the window a little. So she leaves it open. Then the little girl from her cousin, well, let me go back. Everybody's sitting at dinner, and she gets up and she starts to make her speech. The cousin wants to get up, and she says, sit down. And then the cousin tells the daughter to go, and the little girl is like, well, you said we can have cake. And the father's looking at her, and the mother's like, just go to bed. So Sophia's like, you all put me away. You know what my father did to me. You know that he killed my mother. I spent 10 years in Arkham. Nobody was there for me but my brother. All of you. She's like, all of you betrayed me. No, she didn't say all of you betrayed me. It was more so of her confirming that they did betray her, but it was, you are all correct. I'm going to leave basically and start a whole new life. And at that point, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna kill everybody.
yes.
It's like, as soon as she said that, I was like, okay. And you see her walking down the stairs with the little girl. We're gonna go and have some chocolate cake, and we're gonna sleep in the terrarium, whatever the hell it was called. And you want more cake, and you don't want more cake, that's fine. We're gonna sleep out here. I mean, my brother used to sleep out here. It's gonna be fine. She wakes up in the morning, and it's the skipping for me. It's the skipping. She's skipping through the house. She puts her mask on. She put the little mask in the girl's book bag. So she comes out. She carbon monoxide.
The whole house. Yes.
So she put the mask on. She goes into the basement. She takes the pipes apart, and she turns off the gas. And she still has the mask on. And she's going around the house, opening the doors, making sure everybody is dead. But she goes into the underboss's room.
Right.
And she takes her gun, taps him. She's like, I need you to get dressed. Let's go. So he's the one that she kept alive.
That scene I remember. That was one of the few scenes I remember.
That power. I tell you, strong power move. I love it. I loved it. And then her going in with Falcone. I keep saying Falcone.
Maroney.
Going in with Maroney. When it was in Penguin's house, he's like, oh, he took everything from me. She's like, here's a club. It's like, improve your swing. Just told him, she gave him a golf club and just told him to just start breaking shit. And I knew she was going to remember the girls. She found the underwear and went back to the girl. I don't want to call him a girlfriend, his female friend. And she gave him up because she found out that she lied, that Sophia is not the one who killed her friends, and Penguin didn't tell her. So she was like, oh, he didn't tell you. And she still told him the whole story, and she was like, yeah, he lies. So she was like, he's gonna be, she told him to go to wherever. And what was her words? It was, I want you to get, it was the way that she put it. And I felt it. It was the way that she phrased it for the girl. I can't remember what the hell she said. But they ended up having respect for each other, because I just knew that she was just going to shoot her. I knew Sophia was just going to shoot her. And she was like, what you have, your people would not give you up. and you'll die for your people. She was like, when you kill me, just leave my girls alone. And she was like, nobody would give you up. She's like, that's the way it is. They have my back, I have theirs. And then she put the gun to her, and it was, okay, you know what, I've never had that. You have something that I never have, and that's loyalty. And she got up and she was leaving. And then that's what made the friend get up and say where he was. It was like, you didn't hear it from me. She was like, nobody will know it came from you. And then that's when she saw the mother. And that's why I thought it was the last episode and it was going to go into season 2.
No. 2 more episodes. You got 2 more weeks. You got 2 more weeks and then we're done. So that's where we are thus far with the Penguin. But we know he ain't going to get got. It's the Penguin.
No, because it's the Penguin and we know he runs the city. We know that. But I just like to see what happens with Sophia. I want her story. I really want her story to go a little bit further. I hope she's not taken out.
I mean, she can run the Falcone family now because everybody's dead but her.
It's no longer the Falcone family. It's the Gelante family. She took her mother's name. She's like, the Falcones are dead.
No, they're not. Because she knows very well that there are relatives back in the old country, a.k.a. Sicily, who will eventually one day make a trip across the Atlantic and be like, the hell's going on over here?
Well, it's on the news. The whole family is dead except for her and the underboss.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad she shot him. She shot him in the head. She shot him in the head, and she gave the same speech Penguin did, where it was, you are all underlings and you got nothing. You're useless. And the underboss was like, what are you talking about? Why? Sophia, stop talking like that. And she just, boom, shot him in the head. It's like, you guys don't understand your worth. You are worth more than they tell you. And then she opens up a bag of money and just throws it on the table. I'm like, you're throwing the money on the blood. You're fucking throwing the money on the blood on the table. Do you not see the blood on the table? And he was like, Miss Gelante, can I take it? He's like, it's yours. Take it. And everybody just started taking the money. So now she's got people who are loyal to her. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is a new family. You're going to be respected. You're going to move up in the organization. You're not going to be belittled. We're just going to give you. Everybody is, again, communism works on paper. Going to be equal. We'll see how that. Okay. As a half Cuban, we will see how that works. Castro's baby.
Oh my gosh. Well, I will catch up over the next few weeks while this show is winding down. So, any final thoughts, Teresa, before we wrap it up for the evening?
My final thought is, I don't know.
I mean, at least, did you like Sophia? Did you like her?
No. Everybody is demented.
Well, yes.
And I think it's because, I don't know, everything is just so dark. It's dark and it's depressing. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it, and that might just be why I'm not a big DC fan, because everything is so dark and depressing and just.
Well, that's how Gotham. That's how Gotham normally is depicted. That is typical Gotham. It's not supposed to be a bright, sunny place.
Right. Yeah. But this one in particular, I was so optimistic when I watched the first episode, and I was like, okay, this might be something. And I promise you, the only reason I've gotten as far as I have is me looking out for Vic. I'm trying to see what's going to happen with Vic, because everybody else is just completely demented and out of their mind. and I just can't even relate. So I don't know. I hope. How many more episodes are there? I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
There are 2 more episodes. There's 8 total for the season. Episode 6 came out this weekend.
Oh, did I watch episode 6?
I don't know. When I started, there were only 5. So
she found the mother. Sophia found the mother. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. So I did see. I'm okay. Good. There's only 2 left. I can do it.
2 left. Yes. Okay. Simone.
Sophia's my favorite. She's my favorite. She's demented. I love her. Her facial expressions. I need to embrace that when I'm at work and people are talking to me. And I need to look at them like that.
All right. Well, with that, we are going to wrap up this discussion with the Penguin, and thank you all for joining us again this month. Next month, which is next Wednesday, we will be back with Agatha All Along.
Next Wednesday, Agatha?
Next Wednesday, yeah, because the final 2 episodes dropped today.
Okay. Oh, the final 2 today?
Final 2. The last 2 episodes of the season came out today. So next week, all Agatha, whole show.
I can do my
that I can do because I like Agatha.
Down the Witch's Road. Yeah, I got it. I did the videos. I just got to put them all together.
Okay.
Yes, it's Prudence.
And?
Bellatrix and Elphaba.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. The names of the iconic witches.
Those are the witches that's going down the road.
All right. Well, thank you all again for joining us. Till we meet next time. Good night, all.
What's that? How you do that? What's that? You know what I'm doing, right? No. Okay. Don't you? What's the stupid Sailor Moon?
Oh gosh. Oh. You know what? Now I'm cutting you off. Now I'm cutting you off. Good night, everybody.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand,
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals, school will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if he won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if he won't tell it we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if he won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if he won't tell it we will. We will.